Imagine being abandoned on a lonely island, not for days, not for weeks, but for years. Now imagine that your greatest enemy isn't hunger or wild animals, it's loneliness. This is the extraordinary story behind Isola, the novel by Allegra Goodman, inspired by the real life of Margaret de la Rogue, a young French noblewoman whose fate became one of history's most unforgettable survival stories. Let's dive in. The story begins in the 16th century, an age of exploration when Europe was discovering new lands across the Atlantic. Margaret is a wealthy orphan living under the guardianship of her ambitious cousin, John Francois de la Rogue. Her cousin, John Francois de la Rogue de Roberval, has been given the responsibility to oversee her estate until she is old enough to get married. Roberval instructs Margaret to hire a tutor to improve her education. A few days later, Madame Jacqueline d'Artois moves to Perigord with her daughter Claire. At first, Margaret was jealous of Claire because of her humility and talent, and maybe a little because she had a mother to love her. But later, they become the closest friends. Margaret eventually finds out that her cousin has spent all her inheritance on sea voyages in search of new lands and glory, and she has nothing. He even mortgaged her castle to a new wealthy family, the Montforts. When Margaret turned 16, Roberval takes her to her home in La Rochelle. When he joins an expedition to the New World, Margaret travels with him, hoping for a new beginning. But during the voyage, something forbidden happens. She falls in love with a young man aboard the ship. Their relationship enrages her cousin, who sees it as a betrayal of both his authority and the family's honor. His punishment is unimaginably cruel. Instead of forgiving them, he abandons the lovers on a desolate island in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, an isolated land battered by icy winds where survival seems impossible. No rescue, no shelter, no certainty that anyone will ever return. At first, they believe help will come. But days become weeks, weeks become months. Food is scarce, the weather is merciless, every meal must be hunted or gathered. Every day becomes a battle against starvation, freezing temperatures, and despair. Then tragedy strikes. One by one, Margaret loses everyone she loves. Her lover dies. Her trusted maid, who had practically raised her, dies too. Even her newborn child does not survive. She is left completely alone. Most people would give up, but Margaret doesn't. She tries to find solace in faith and in God. She learns to hunt. She protects herself from wild animals. She builds a life from almost nothing, refusing to surrender even when hope disappears. Years later, passing fishermen finally discover her alive. She befriends them and requests them to take her back with them. But they had doubts that a frail woman like her would survive the turbulent journey across the sea. She convinces them that she can be very strong and useful, and they take her. On their way, they face violent storms. One of their boats sinks, and almost half of them drown. But somehow they survive. Margaret thought that they will consider her unlucky because of the misfortunes that happened, but instead, they considered her lucky because they survived. She returns to France, where her old teacher and her dear friend receive her with open hearts. Her story spreads across the country. What once seemed impossible becomes legendary. She is encouraged to present her story to the Queen, who has a passion of collecting great stories. But she is horrified to find that her cousin had already told his version of story to the queen, telling her how he rescued her from the island. But Margaret doesn't take it. She stands her ground and exposes Roberval in front of everybody. She eventually becomes a teacher and spends the rest of her life in relative peace, carrying memories that few could ever imagine. That's it for today. Subscribe to my channel for more such videos.